and welcome to this Astranti video looking at the November response to a survey that we sent out to students following their November strategic case study exam. And in this particular video, we're going to look at some of the responses and draw some conclusions from the results and what it means for you as future students of this exam and what you can learn from students that have already sat the exam. Because who better to inform the next generation of students than the one that came before it, because they've been there and they've done the exam, and there's going to be some key points in here for you to take forward into your studies. So let's get started by looking at how difficult the strategic case study exam is. Now, I'm sure you all think it is a difficult exam and you all expect it to be difficult. And actually, what the survey response shows is that over 50% of students felt it was even harder than they had expected. So even though they knew it was going to be difficult, even though they expected it to be difficult, it was even harder than they expected. And in fact, only 9% felt it was easier than they had expected, with about 40% thinking that it was about as difficult as they expected. So what this means for you as a student is you need to be aware of the fact that it is going to be as difficult as you expect. But that doesn't mean you should get worried. It just means that you should be aware of the amount of work that you need to put in order to achieve the pass. But what can you actually do about that? What kinds of things will you need to do in advance of the exam in order to make sure you are fully prepared? Well, another question that we asked students was which sorts of things they felt were really important and really fundamental in their passing of the exam and in their sitting of the exam. What things they would do more of if they could go back to the position you're in now, where they've still got several weeks before their exam. What would they do more of? And the results are as follows. You can see that the highest one here, the one that they would spend more time doing, was mock exam practice. In fact, 42.7% of students that were surveyed said they would do more mock exam practice. And a couple of things on here actually feed into that as well. So if you look at time management practice, where 28% of students surveyed said they would do more of that. If you look at answer planning, 33.3% of students said they would do more of that. And typing speed as well. All of this feeds into mock exam practice. That's how you work on your time management. That's how you work on your answer planning. That's how you work on your typing speed. And yes, theory has come out of this as a very important thing as well. 41.3% of students said that. But the main takeaway here is that you need to put a lot of practice in. A lot of students really struggle the first time they sit a mock exam. And some students won't sit any mock exams. So that first time that they really struggle with will actually be in the actual exam. And it's no surprise that a large proportion of those students are failing at their exam if they do not take any practice in advance. And what's interesting is if we cross-reference this with the next question that we asked, which is what would you spend less time doing, we can see that theory was also very prevalent. So theory splits down the middle. Half the students think it was really important, they would do more of it if they had the chance, and half the students think it wasn't important and they wouldn't do more of it, or they'd do less of it if they had the chance. However, what we can see here is very few students feel that they would do less exam practice. Very few students feel they would do less time management, less answer planning practice, down in the single-digit percentages. So when we cross-reference that back to the ones that they would spend more doing, we can see that whilst the revision of theory does split the students, the exam practice and the time management practice does not. They still believe that they would do more exam practice, and they don't think they would do less exam practice. And then what we asked our students to do was to give one piece of advice, just a simple statement or a collection of words or phrases, etc., just to give one piece of advice for students going forward, this being directed at you. And we've looked at all of those and we've joined them together, and these are the main ones that we have come up with, some key tips from previous students. And as you can see, following on from our analysis, there is a lot of correlation here. The mock exams are key. They're very, very important to allow you to work on your exam technique and make sure you plan your answers effectively. Often I would actually suggest to students that rather than just doing mock exams, they do specific exercises to work specifically just on their answer planning and just on building the plan from the requirements. And also, whilst theory can be important, and some students felt it was very important, some students felt it wasn't, the one bit of advice that really came out from students with regards to theory was to get the theory practice in early, to do all your theory revision before you start doing your mock exams. So there's a lot for you to take in, and a lot of information that you need to be aware of, a lot of things you need to do ahead of the exam. It's also worth pointing out that we conduct this survey after every sitting and we see similar results each time. And that's why over the course of these sittings, we've been tailoring our courses around these needs and around what students are looking for. And I'm just going to finish by telling you a bit about the materials and the courses that we produce here at Astranti. We have an exam technique series, which is a series of videos and study text chapters looking specifically at planning and technique and plan building and answer building, etc. We have a theory revision series to go through the key topics across the strategic syllabus. A pre-scene analysis, which looks at the pre-scene, but also looks at some particular issues that are likely to arise from the material, and also some of the key models and how you can use them in your answer planning. We also have an industry analysis where we look at various different factors in the real-world industry that the pre-scene is based on, and also give you some industry examples you can use in your exam. And then we have the mock exams, which, as we saw from the research and we saw from the survey, is very, very important. And it's also very important that you get marking and feedback for those mocks as well, to really pinpoint where you are going wrong and also what you're doing right, so you can build on your strengths and work on your weaknesses. We also have our specific question packs, which look at the various different core activities, and it's just another way of giving you some additional exam practice. And then we have the masterclasses as well, which summarize a lot of the course and also give you a chance to directly ask questions to the tutor. And all of this is backed up by our pass guarantees. So as long as you have completed the course and you've done everything that's on the course, if you were to unfortunately not be successful in your exam, you will be given another 3 sitting on Astranti, because we have that much faith in our course and our method. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have found this video useful. I hope you are able to use some of this advice that's been given by previous students and take this forward into your own planning. And if I were to summarize a few of the key points to work on, is to make sure you work on your exam practice, but also make sure that you do not neglect the theory. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.